Hi, I'm Kay. I like to create stuff, and today I'm going to be drawing Arsox from Palworld in Pokemon. Let's first import Terraki and Gogot here to help us. They're going to be my bases for now. Then let's decapitate Gogot so that I can cleanly remove his head. Arsox has a very goat-like head, so let's just stick that head onto Terrakion. With that done, I'm going to now start building out the horns using Gogots and Terrakions as a basis. I do think Arsox is a silly name, so I'm going to start calling her Geraldine. I'm going to take Terrakion's horns and use them as the basis for Geraldine's lower horns. And I'm going to continue to poke at it with a clear paint bucket until I can get the horns to a nice base shape. I'm going to steal this middle ridge from Entei here because, why not? Now I'm going to swatch Gogot's color palette and I'm going to begin coloring the horns. At this point, I decided that it's easier to decapitate Geraldine yet again so that I can work on the horns by themselves. I'm then going to start building out her upper head, and because she hasn't had breakfast this morning, she's particularly grumpy. And for her fur, I'm going to go ahead and color swatch Typhlosion's fur. And for her other fur, I'm going to color swatch Geraldine herself. I forgot to film it, but I gave her eyes a nice emerald green as well. I'm then going to start working on her first lower horn, and I'm going to be pixel poking it until I can get it into a shape that I like. I realized I didn't quite like the color that I had given them, so I'm just going to instead, once again, directly color swatch Geraldine herself. And I'm going to mess with the position a little bit. Before duplicating the horn and repeating the process for the other side. Feeling satisfied with the bottom horns, it's time to move on to the top horns. I'm going to start by separating and placing the horns in their appropriate positions. Geraldine's horns are quite a considerable size larger than Gogot's horns, so unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to do some freehanding. And I'm going to keep poking at the horns with my pencil tool, getting them to that nice recognizable shape. Then I'm going to start adding shading and definition to the horns. And I decided that Gogot's horns weren't girthy enough, so I've decided to bulk them out. And it's back to me poking at it with a pencil tool, attempting to get that shading and form just right. After that, I'm going to once again mess with the positioning of my bottom horns until I'm satisfied with their placement. I think this horn's supposed to be furry, so I'm going to add some definition to the bottom horn. I'm going to duplicate my upper left horn for the upper right horn, and that's looking pretty good. With the head done, I'm going to start on Geraldine's fiery mane. I've gone ahead and imported a custom Flareon skin that I did a while back. And I'm going to trim off all of Flareon's excess, leaving only the mane and the tail. But at this point, I realized that Flareon's mane wasn't big enough, so I'd once again have to do some freehanding to expand the fiery mane. And some more pixel poking with my pixel poking pencil, just to make sure the shape is just right. From there, I colored the mane in the same fiery orange hues, giving it that nice fiery look. With the bottom part of the mane done, I'm now going to move on to the top part, repeating the same process as before, carving out that shape and covering it with the blazing orange hue. With the mane looking nice and hot, I'm going to go ahead and import Go-Goat's body for Geraldine's body here. I'm going to clip away the hedges. Geraldine is a bit stockier than Go-Goat, so I'm going to make her a bit wider, and in the process, painting her fur in the same burgundy maroon shade as before. And I'm going to bulk out the legs as well. Geraldine does not skip leg day. After repeating the process on the other 3 legs, I'm now going to steal Entei's cuffs. However, they are a bit too big, so I've slimmed them down for Geraldine here. And I'm gonna poke at it with shades of gray to make it look good. And from there, I'm going to duplicate the cuffs 3 times for Geraldine's 3 other legs. Actually, at this point I realized I only have 3 legs, so I'm going to clone Geraldine's high leg and use that as a basis for her 4th leg. And with that, I'm going to begin working on her fiery tail. Geraldine's tail doesn't really arc up like Flareon's does, so I'm going to trim the upper portion and append it to the lower portion. And from there, I'm going to do some freehanding, once again pixel poking it to get the shape that I want. I'm going to add some more fiery detailing. And putting some finishing touches all around to give her outline a bit more of an organic look to it. With everything nearly complete, I felt that Geraldine was still a little too short, so I'm going to move her body around a little bit and fill in the gaps. And after adding some finishing touches, that's the front sprite complete. Which means I'm going to begin work on the often overlooked back sprite. I'm going to once again start by getting Go-Goat as a template. And I'm going to once again grab Flareon for its fiery tail and its fiery mane. And I'm going to start by chipping away at its tail repeating a similar process that I did for the front sprite. Then it's once again back to the main. And I'm gonna have to freehand a lot of the gaps before I once again move on to shading. With that done, I'm gonna once again begin work on the upper horns. Gonna do some more pixel poking to make sure the horns are, once again, just right. Before moving on to the lower horns. Don't forget the center horn, crest thing. Geraldine is certainly very horny. Do not take that out of context. And I'm gonna swatch the front sprite to color the face. And I'm gonna work on bulking out the horns before shading them in. At this point, I'm pretty unsatisfied with how the head sculpt for the back sprite looks, so I keep pixel poking at it, trying to get it right. And I realized that the problem is most likely the positioning. So I move the horns around, trying to get the perspective right. With the positioning now looking much better, it's back to pixel poking the horns for what feels like the billionth time. Alright, that's looking good enough, so it's time to bulk out the legs. Gonna add that fur coloration and that fur texture. I'm not sure if this is a saddle, but the reference pic that I used for Geraldine has a gray ridge saddle looking thing. So I'm gonna add that in as well. And with that done, I'm gonna add in the rest of her fur. Gonna shade that in. Before adding the cuffs once again. This time, I'm gonna make the cuffs a little bit bigger so that they fit the perspective better. And I'm gonna pixel poke at it a little bit to let the tufts of fur cover part of the cuffs. And we're just about done, which means it's time to see Geraldine in action. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And leave a comment down below letting me know what you'd like me to create next. That's it for now. Bye.